This is Prep Sports Now, a Las Vegas Sun sports podcast presented by the A's and Las Vegas Aviators. Thank you for your continued support of high school sports. I'm Ray Brewer, and I am flying solo this week. We've had a guest host the last 3 weeks, and if you'd like to be a guest host, definitely DM me on Twitter at RayBrewer21. But flying solo this week, a lot to talk about, and going to get right at it. The game of last week was without question Bishop Gorman against Arborview. The Gales, the defending state champions, with a 49-14 victory. And I learned a few things from this game. One is kind of a reminder. Never kind of poke the bear that is Bishop Gorman, because I think Bishop Gorman was acutely aware that Arborview had a really good offense, right? You got Thaddeus Thatcher, the Division I quarterback. You got the Ferris kid at tight end. You've got some linemen. You got your receivers. They probably got 5 D1 guys. And somewhere along the way, somebody might have said the Arborview offense was better than the Gorman offense. And that certainly didn't sit too well with the Gales. They came out 35 plays, 7 touchdowns, ran the ball at ease, threw the ball at ease, showed they do, in fact, have the best offense in the state. It's Bishop Gorman's final score to name every week. They should be the state champions. Of course, that's why you play the game, so we won't say they will be, but they should be the state champions. Let's give credit, though, to Arborview. They scored 2 touchdowns. I guess that's kind of the bar against Bishop Gorman. If you could score more than 1 touchdown, you've had a successful outcome, right? You look at the state semifinals last year. Coronado scored 2 touchdowns, one when Gorman had its starters in. This week, Arborview scored 2 touchdowns. It's a good way of it's a good barometer of, what kind of program you have. I remember maybe 2 years ago, Gorman had a shutout streak of like 5 games in a row going, and Desert Pines might have kicked a field goal. And they were very excited, to say the least. And Gorman was crushed. They knew they had the shutout streak going, and, 1 field goal kind of broke the back. So who knows if this is going to be the state championship game, Gorman against Arborview. What I do know is that Arbor was on the radar of Bishop Gorman, and we saw a motivated Gorman team for a league game, and it was very impressive, to say the least. So shout out to Gorman. They got a dub. They got the victory. And like I said, I don't know what the state championship game is going to be, if it's going to be Arbor against Gorman, or if it's going to be a team like Coronado against Gorman. Coronado, of course, with their big upset of Liberty, their great quarterback, Aiden Cross, has been injured, hasn't played the last 2 weeks. Coronado got crushed 51-0 against San Clemente, California, last week in California. Of course, no Vegas teams win when traveling into California. AK should be back this week. The Cougars, they play Desert Pines. Some feel that they narrowly lost to Arborview. They may be the second best team. That might be our state championship game. And then we should talk about those Liberty Patriots. Liberty with a pretty convincing win last week against Desert Pines. And listen, they've been the best public school team in Las Vegas for 15 years. They had the state championship in 2019. And they lost to Coronado, and they lost bad. And they were, they had 1 win going into Friday night, and they fell behind Desert Pines early 14-0. Few mistakes kind of magnified what they've been going through all year. Then they scored like 39 straight points to beat Desert Pines. And I just don't want to count Liberty out quite yet. I think that the Patriots have been there, done that. This isn't one of the best teams they've had. Yeah, they lost to Coronado for the first time in like 15 years. But come on, this is the Liberty Patriots. They got D1 kids on both sides of the ball. They've been there. They've done that. And if the seeding works out, they're only going to have to beat like Coronado or Arborview to potentially to potentially get to the state championship game at Allegiant Stadium. So we've got a lot of live action in the big division. Gorman clearly the team to beat. Right beneath them, and not just right beneath them, a gigantic gapping hole beneath them. You've got Arborview. You've also got the Liberty Patriots. Big shout out to the Basic Wolves. Hell yeah. A big victory over Foothill in the battle for Boulder Highway. Of course, that's the game where Basic's on one side of Boulder Highway, Foothill's on the other side. Friendly neighborhood rivalry, kids growing up on the same grade schools and youth football teams. And the Basic Wolves with a big win over Foothill. I had Foothill in that game. I went 12-3 last week. One of my losses was the Wolfpack's upset of the Falcons. I doubt Basic is going to pull off an upset this week. They are the homecoming delight game for Bishop Gorman. So Basic Wolves at Bishop Gorman. If you look at all the other sports offered by the NIAA, Basic High is in a lower division, and not just one division lower. Basketball, they're in the 4A. You look at all the sports. Oh, well, I guess baseball, they're in the top class and they've done well. But there's a reason why Basic shouldn't be in the Class 5A, and it's because they just don't have the money to compete with the Liberties and the Coronados and the Centennials and the Gormans and the Faith Lutherans. And the fact that last year they won the Division II, they got elevated up to the top spot, and now with losing all the key players from that team, they've got to play the likes of Arborview and the likes of Bishop Gorman. So realignment has been great. It's created these lower leagues. It helped Legacy win a state championship, helped Silverado win 2. But the fact that there's still a team out there like Basic who gets stuck having to play Bishop Gorman, it's not fun for everybody. They'll be up by the running clock in the second quarter. Gorman's going to hustle to try to get everybody to play one snap on its homecoming game, and Basic hopes that nobody gets hurt. And it's tough. I understand the rub with realignment in that you're going off of the results of the past season, and that gives you concrete evidence that a program could develop itself to be at a certain potential. And if a program's not doing good, you drop them down, let them try to develop. The one problem is that the athletes that you're using to develop that team, they're not there anymore. So in Basic's case, they got a lot of new pieces, and they're playing in the top league, and they're going to get hammered on Friday night. So my observation there, take it for whatever it's worth. Tim Jackson, the new head over at the NIAA, I have confidence in the man. I think he might try to figure something out to get it done with the Board of Control. Some more observations from last week. The Western High Warriors broke a 780-some day losing streak. They beat Bonanza and beat them rather convincingly. So shout out to Coach Ridenour and his boys. And it's kind of funny how it works out where Western had been running the spread all season. Quarterback gets hurt. They got to go and instead run, the wing T, and they pull an offensive guard in, and they have the offensive guard leading the team at quarterback. Next thing you know, they're racking up big yardage, and they're blowing out the Bonanza Bengals. So shout out for Western, got it done, and I'm sitting here looking at the pick sticks week, and Western's got Cheyenne next Friday night. The week after that, they close the regular season against Rancho, and forget about making the playoffs. If Western wins out, meaning they beat Cheyenne this week and they beat Rancho next week, so that'd be a 3-game winning streak, which God knows when the last time that happened. Western would be hosting its initial playoff game since 2008. So very interesting times, to say the least, in the Class 4A. Big win by Western. They got 2 winnable games in front of them. Class 3A, I told everybody 2 things last week. I said Virgin's going to beat Slam. I just know it. And guess what happened? Virgin beat Slam. I also told you last week that Shadow was going to beat Green Valley. 2 upset winners. I gave them to you. I sound like one of those 1-800 numbers, but we're doing good. My record is 115-50 this year. But shout out to Virgin Valley, running the ball well. And it's kind of those same 3 teams in the Class 3A with Mawapa, Virgin, and Slam. 1, 2, 3. Who's going to be the last team standing? Virgin, of course, has a loss by double forfeit to Democracy Prep for a game that ended in the third quarter after there was a fight on the field. Virgin will tell you they held their players back and nothing happened. Still ruled a double forfeit, and that game has huge implications because there's going to be a potential 3-way tie, and now Virgin's got a loss against Democracy Prep. Remember, nobody wants to travel to play Truckee in Northern Nevada in the playoffs. Truckee's won the last 2 state championships. Not only are they the best team in the entire state in the Class 3A, I've said repeatedly on the podcast, they're likely the best team in Northern Nevada, favored to win state. They traveled to Elko last Saturday, got the dub. My boy Lake Tahoe guy kept sending in those updates, so I appreciate that. But I just, part of me would want to see Slam go up to Truckee and get a chance to play in the snow, because Slam does have the athletes to keep up with Truckee. It's just the last 2 years, Truckee has killed Slam in the state championship game. Hasn't really been close, so we've kind of seen that movie already. And I don't know if Elko is the 2 seed, if whoever is if Elko comes down here, I just don't know if Virgin or Mawapa beats Elko. Elko's got a good team this year. We'll see how it transpires. Speaking of Mawapa, they hung on against Pahrump, got the win. Number 200 for Coach Lewis over there. The guy's been the head coach since 2004. He's won 4 state championships. There was that state championship game against Desert Pines when they were down 19 entering the fourth quarter, rallied to win one of the best state championship games I've covered in my tenure here at the Sun. So congratulations to the dean of the 3A coaches, Coach Lewis, for win number 200. The guy wins 10 or more games a year, and you could see why they will likely get a win this week against Democracy Prep. And the jockeying will come down to the final week as we try to figure out who's the 1 seed and who's the 2 seed, remembering that the higher seeded team in the state semifinals will have an opportunity to host a team from Northern Nevada instead of traveling to Northern Nevada to play a game. Small victory for me, everybody. I just spilled some water on my desk, and it didn't get on my pants, so I'm feeling good about that. A few napkins, and we'll get it cleaned up, and we'll get back to the show. But I really appreciate everybody listening, the A's and Las Vegas Aviators, for their sponsorship. Again, I'm flying solo this week. If you want to be like Brad Talich or all of our other guest hosts and you want a spot on Prep Sports Now, hit me up, Ray Brewer 21. I'd love to have me on the show. Love to talk ball. Love everybody's expertise. We've had small town high school football talk, special teams talk, whatever it is. It's been great to talk to all of our longtime listeners. Ready to come in strong with the picks again. I went 12-3 last week, 115-50 for the season, and we're just going in order from Max Preps. But the First game on the board, Canyon Springs at Spring Valley. Spring Valley is sneaky 6-1 on the year. Canyon has won 4 straight games, and I've got the Pioneers making it 5 in a row. Canyon Springs 20, Spring Valley 13. Mojave, we don't talk about them Rattlers enough. Lost in week 1, haven't lost since, haven't even been challenged since. They got Cimarron Memorial this week. Next week, the league championship game against Somerset Losi, who's got a bye. Mojave big, 40-0. Foothill at Liberty. Listen, disappointed for Foothill in their loss last week. The basic, Liberty looks strong. They're confident that they could get everything fixed. Here come the Patriots. Liberty 31, Foothill 13. Rancho at Bonanza. Bonanza with a bad loss to Western. Rancho, arguably the worst team in town. I got the Bengals of Bonanza High School. Clark at Desert Oasis. The next game, Dio gave up 50 against Centennial. Couldn't figure that out. They get a good Clark team, a lot of good younger players. I've got Desert Oasis in a close one. Next game, Shadow Ridge at Silverado. Silverado still looking for the first win. Shadow Ridge came to Green Valley last week. Got a dub. I told you they would. And Shadow Ridge gets another win, 38-20 over the Skyhawks of Silverado. Coronado at Desert Pines. Listen, if AK's playing, they get a dub. If the backup Kuna's playing, they get a dub. This is Coronado's game to lose. I got the Coronado Cougars big. Next game, Del Sol at El Dorado. Sun Devils beat Valley. Oh, they're not the Sun Devils anymore. El Dorado Firehawks beat Valley last week. Give it 2 in a row. El Dorado 23, Del Sol 20. Next game, Western at Cheyenne. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know the last time I picked Western to win a game. Impressed with what they did last week. They might have found something with this rushing attack. Western over Cheyenne, 19-17. Next game, Legacy at Palo. Hoping it's close like those games last year when they were fighting for supremacy in the Class 4A. Of course, Legacy, we thought it was an upset then. Took down Palo on the way to winning state. And I got Legacy winning again Friday night. Durango's coming off a bye. They're playing at Vegas. Wildcats of Vegas. My Kitty Cats, 7-2 on the year. Durango also with a good record. Durango plays great defense, great special teams. But I don't think they got the speed to contain my guy, Chris Body, the running back. Wildcats, 27. Durango, 16. Next up, Faith Lutheran at Green Valley. Could be one of the games of the week. Green Valley's got a decent passing attack. Couldn't slow down Shadow Ridge's ground game last week. Faith Lutheran, big win over Legacy. The Crusaders haven't lost all year. They might go undefeated and win the state championship. It's going to be a good one in Henderson. Faith Lutheran 33, Green Valley 24. Next game, as I drink some of that water that I spilled, Slam Nevada at Boulder City. Gosh, I can't figure the 3A out. Is Slam still the team to beat? They get through Boulder. It's going to be close like all games in the SEC, as Coach Mike Kofer likes to say. 1917, Boulder City. Moapa, they're playing Democracy Prep. No way Democracy wins in Overton. 44-0. Running clock, get it started. Basic at Gorman, we don't even need to talk about it. Why are they playing the game? Ridiculous. Gorman, name your score. Last game, Virgin Valley against Matter East. I always say Mater, but I think it's Matter. Matter's got a good team. Coach Tui getting it done over there. But I tell you what, Virgin can run the rock. They're disciplined. They're organized. I don't know if I'm going to pick them against the Pirates, the team that they're rivals with over there. But this week I go Virgin Valley 22, Mater East 19. Folks, we're going to see some close games this week. You know, it's getting down to crunch time. The playoffs are on the horizon. I hear it's going to get a little windy this week, a little cold. The weather might be impactful. Going to be fun. I really appreciate everybody listening. supporting Las Vegas Sun, everything we do here. Had our high school basketball media day last week. Had an absolute blast. All the kind words everybody has said. I am so eternally grateful for just this Sun Standout Nation that we've created. Wishing everybody fun on Friday night. For Case, who's off covering the Raiders, and all my other guest hosts, holding down the fort, flying solo, I'm Ray Brewer. Thank you for listening to Prep Sports Now.